I hate when girls say that, oh, you can just get a guy to do your homework for you. Hello, welcome to another video. So today we're gonna talk about sexism. Yay, my favorite topic. So nobody wants to talk about this, but I do, because it's something that's real and it happens every day, and I kind of just want to talk about it. So I got my laptop, proof that I was in engineering. It says engineering physics on it, which is the engineering I was in. So I made this document. You might not be able to see it from the glare of the window, but I made a document about being a girl in engineering, and I'm just gonna take you through all the things that I've experienced. All right, so you guys ready? So right now I'm asking myself, why on earth am I drinking coffee at 6 p.m.? I have an issue. This video was inspired by all the girls on YouTube who are in engineering or were in engineering, and they made videos about being a girl in engineering, and I feel like they haven't really captured the essence of what it's like to be a girl in engineering. In that sense, I mean, I feel like they sugarcoated it a little bit. So I am gonna talk about what it's really like being a girl in engineering, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna tell it to you like it is, because I drink my coffee black. So you know that's, you see this coffee? There is no sugar in it. There is no milk in it. I drink it black. So that's how you know. That's how you know I keep it real, okay? So let's get into it. Let's start talking about me first. So I graduated from engineering physics. That was my specialty in, I think it was 1 month ago, at like the beginning of May, end of April. So I graduated during the quarantine. Yay, I love that for me. Yeah, so I didn't get like a ceremony or anything. I just kind of finished alone in my room. But yeah, I've been a girl in engineering for 5 years. My program was 5 years. That's because I did do a co-op, but I did quit my co-op early, and I'm gonna talk to you about what it was like really to be a girl in engineering. So I wanna start off by saying that engineering is male dominated. Like, I think all STEM fields are, but specifically engineering is very male dominated. So as a girl in engineering, you're obviously not gonna be usually most likely surrounded by other girls. So in the first year of my program, it was a general engineering, so everybody was in the same classes, there was no like specializations. And then in our second year of university, everybody chooses what they wanna go into. For example, electrical, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, software. I chose engineering physics because I don't want to be employable. So what is engineering physics? It's kind of like applied physics, where you take some physics courses, but it doesn't really focus on the theory as much. It more focuses on the applications of like real physics concept, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's really hard to describe what physics is. I chose it because I really liked physics. I wasn't really thinking about what I wanted to do specifically. I was just kind of doing whatever I wanted. And I was like, you know, if I follow my interests, one day I'll be doing something I like. So yeah, that's what I thought. It might have been a little naive, but no regrets. I don't think I could have done another type of engineering because I wouldn't have liked it as much. Like my classes would have been boring. Also, do you guys like my hair? I'm obsessed with this. I have this little clip over here and it keeps it all up. It's so good. So in my first year, when we were all in general engineering, the ratio honestly wasn't that bad. There was a significant amount of girls. I would say maybe like 40% girls in my classes and 60% guys, so it didn't really feel that weird. And then my second year comes along, so the amount of girls in your program really depends on what specialization you go into of engineering. For example, chemical engineering is notorious for being called fem-eng and having a lot of girls in it. And then other programs like software engineering doesn't have that many females. That one's mostly male dominated and most likely nerds. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different stereotypes about the different people in engineering. I think the bioengineering, like biomedical engineering, also has more females in it than the other ones. But if you go into like the male fields, like software, mechanical is pretty male dominated. Engineering physics was really, really male dominated. Computer engineering, electrical also had mostly guys. So yeah, if you go into one of those engineerings, like your classes will probably have maybe like 3 to 5 girls in like a 30-person class. Like, it's pretty rare to find a girl. So in my experience, from my 5 years in engineering, I have noticed that there's 2 types of girls in engineering. There's the feminine girl who has stereotypically feminine hobbies. For example, shopping, fashion, and watches reality TV, likes to get dolled up, stuff like that. And then there's the kind of tomboy, kind of geeky girl who doesn't really put much effort into her appearance. She kind of just like dresses down always, doesn't really like fashion, doesn't really care about her appearance, likes to game, stuff like that. Honestly, kind of like the not like other girls girl. You know what I'm talking about? I don't want to accuse anyone of anything, but that's all I'm saying. So the more feminine girl, I feel like has a harder time in engineering compared to like the more tomboy geeky girl. Because I think the tomboy geeky girl fits in more to who the guys are. Also, I feel like in general, the more feminine characteristics you have to yourself, the less respect you have in engineering. Because engineering is already viewed as a very masculine occupation, and the things we're learning aren't stereotypically feminine. If you have other feminine characteristics, for example, fashion, makeup, stuff like that, people are just gonna assume that you're pretty much dumb. And that's really the biggest problem in engineering. I would say if there was one major problem, it would be that people assume that you are dumb if you're a girl. If you're a guy in engineering, the initial assumption is, oh, this guy's smart, he knows what he's talking about. That doesn't really have anything to do with who you are. As you get to know someone, you learn more about them, your opinions change of people, naturally. If you are a feminine girl in engineering, it's always gonna be like, yeah, she doesn't really know what she's doing. She's probably like dumb. Like, I don't really know why she's here. I don't know. It's weird. She's probably like not doing so well. And then you, along the way, as they get to know you, you have to prove yourself. So as a girl in engineering, you will have to work harder than the guys. That's just the truth, okay? Like, it's not going to be easy. If you're not top of the class as a girl, you will have no respect. That's the truth. So being a girl in engineering, it is very difficult to make friends because you have all these nerdy guys in your classes and it's really difficult for you to relate with these people. Like, what do you talk about to a guy who has very different interests than you? These guys like play video games. I don't know anything about video games. Do they like fashion? Not really. Do they watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians? No, they think that stuff's stupid. It's really hard to make friends with these people. Even if they're nice people, it's still hard because they can't really be your friends, you know? You can't really connect with anything that deeply because you guys are just completely different people. So that, I feel like, is one of like the main challenges of being a girl in engineering, is that you oftentimes feel lonely in your classes because you don't have that many friends who can like, you can hang out with and who you can talk about things with. And I hate when girls say that, oh, you can just get a guy to do your homework for you. You can, look, there are going to be guys who are going to be lining up to like help you with random, even if you don't ask for help, even if you're sitting there minding your own business, they're going to come up to you and they're like, oh my God, are you coding in C? Do you need help with that? No. Did I ask for your help? Do I look like I'm confused? I know exactly what I'm doing. Leave me alone. This is a trap. This is the biggest trap. Those guys who want to help you with your homework, are they doing it for free? Think about their motives, okay? They expect things in return, okay? And you know what they talk about when they're with their friends? Oh my God, yeah, I helped Jana with her homework. She can't get it. She's pretty dumb. She's pretty vapid, you know? But thankfully, I was there to help her. So at the beginning of engineering, I was like, oh my God, these guys are so nice. They're just like dying to help me with my stuff, with my program. You know, my code doesn't run. Oh, I'll just ask Fred. By the end of engineering, I would rather die than ask a guy to help me with anything. You cannot show, I felt like I could not show weakness because if I asked a question, they'd be like, see, proof, she's dumb, proof. So yeah, when I hear girls being like, oh, you can just get a guy to do your lab for you. Also, boy, do I have a story for you about that. I'm gonna put that on hold, maybe make it a story time video. All these ideas are running through my head, whatever. Another thing about being a girl in engineering is that all the guys there, well, not all of them, but a lot of them are kind of nerdy and kind of geeky and they kind of lack social skills. So if you're trying to talk to someone who's in engineering, again, not all of the time, but most of the time, you're gonna have to be starting the convos. You're gonna have to be asking the questions. Don't expect eye contact from them because they're a little awkward, stuff like that. Yeah, it's on you. Like if you don't push for a conversation, there will be no conversation, honey, because they cannot have a conversation. So, because of these two things that I just mentioned, one, that it's very difficult to be friends with people who are very different than you, and guys in engineering are pretty different than you if you are a girl in engineering who doesn't play video games and doesn't watch weird shows like Star Trek. And two, they kind of lack people skills just automatically. I don't know why. So those things together, okay? First, it's gonna be hard for you to excel because you will feel like you don't really have a support system because you don't have any close friends who are in your program. And it's gonna be hard for you to get promoted because it actually just gets worse the higher up you go. If you start getting a job in engineering, there's just even less girls and there's even more weird nerdy guys. And if you don't have anything to talk about with them, how are you going to bond with your coworkers? How are you going to become friends with your boss? It's going to be hard for you to get a promotion and stuff when there's like Phil over there who's like buddy with the boss, and you're like, hey, yeah, have you guys seen that Kim and Courtney like got into a fight? Did you watch yesterday's episode? Keeping Up with the Kardashians? No? Oh. No, I don't watch that show. Next is that if you are a girl in engineering, there's gonna be very little room for failure because people automatically assume that you're dumb. Because of that assumption, if you fail once, you're done. There is no coming back from it. So if you fail, people are automatically going to assume that you failed because you're dumb, because that's already what they're thinking in their head. That's already their expectation that they have of you. So if you do something and you don't do it well, it's because she's dumb. However, if some other guy like David over there fails, it's because he just is so lazy. He left it to the last minute. It's something he should work on. Like it's always going to be that David failed because he's lazy or because of another reason, not necessarily because he wasn't smart. But if you fail as a girl in engineering, it's because you aren't smart enough. And, maybe you should look into another field, maybe something with more people skills. Anything you achieve, any success you have is going to be attributed to something other than your merit. It's never going to be like, oh, she did that because she's smart or because she worked hard. It's always like you got a good grade in this class because she flirted with the prof, because she flirted with the TAs. She goes and she talks to the professor and he just gives her an A+. That's literally why she got that good grade. She only got an A+ because she got lucky. Yeah, it was really weird. Yeah, she just happened to get lucky this one time, but no, trust me, she's not that smart. That's what they're gonna think when you are a girl and you succeed in anything in engineering. It's never gonna be because you're smart or because you worked hard or because you studied. Look, I'm not saying that they're never gonna think that you're smart, but I am saying that you're gonna have to work super duper hard, much harder than your peers, to be respected, to be seen as smart, to be seen as hardworking, to be seen as an equal. And there's no room for failure. If you drop the ball once, that just proves that you don't have what it takes. Maybe you should do something else. Also, another problem, which is probably the least problematic problem out of all of these that I've listed, is that the guys in engineering, they have questionable fashion. They wear sweatpants and sweatshirts all the time and socks and flip-flops. There's nothing wrong with wearing socks and flip-flops because I like to wear that around the house too, but I would never wear it outside of my house. Most people in engineering just have terrible fashion sense. It's atrocious. Please introduce a course just teaching them how to dress. They need it. Okay, so this part of the video, I'm gonna talk about some experiences I've had. So I just wanna say, these are not the only experiences. There's a whole bunch, and I can be here all day talking to you about it. And I could take this camera right now and go to my friend's house and interview her, and she'd give you 20 more experiences. And this part could really go on forever. But I'm just gonna list a few. I wanna say that most of these are microaggressions. What that means is it's little small things that happen now and then it kind of just accumulates into this whole sexism thing, okay? This might seem small, but when it happens a lot, it kind of becomes a big deal. There was one time that a certain guy in my class, in my program, I think all of my classes actually, I am a very hardworking human, and I got an A+ in a class. One of my friends, who was also a girl, she was sitting in the lounge. So we have a lounge for our program, and one of the guys in the program said, oh yeah, she got an A+, but it's only because she flirts with the TA. She only got there because of her body. Quotes, she only did it because of her body. Was I bending and snapping in front of the TA? Is that what he means by she only got there because of her body? Why would anybody give you an A+ because of your body? Was I sleeping with the prof? Was I sleeping with the TA? These people cannot accept that you achieve anything. Okay, another time, a certain guy, let's call him Mark. And I have a friend, let's call her Macy. Random names. Macy and Mark were sitting next to me while we were studying. Macy says she doesn't have MATLAB. MATLAB is a program that you put on your computer and it lets you do things. Mark is like, oh, I have MATLAB, I can download it for you. Macy's like, yeah, sure, thanks. Mark puts in the USB in her laptop, starts downloading it, says it'll probably take 3 hours for it to download, so you gotta wait. So we're just sitting there hanging out. I'm half studying, half talking to them. They're pretty much just talking to each other for like 3 hours. Then MATLAB finishes downloading. Cool, we all leave, bye. The next day, I'm talking to him, and he's talking to me and a whole bunch of other guys who are also in our classes, and he tells the story of how he helped Macy with her MATLAB on her laptop. And he says this, he says, yeah, I helped her with her MATLAB, and then she told me she has a boyfriend. Sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? Like she owes you something? Why does it matter what time she told you she has a boyfriend? He's trying to make it seem like she used him to download her MATLAB and then didn't want to give him something that he wanted in return for downloading her MATLAB. I feel kind of dumb like explaining why these are bad to you, so I'm just gonna like let you figure out why that's bad. Like, does she owe you anything? Is she supposed to be like, oh my god, you downloaded my MATLAB? She didn't even ask for your help to download MATLAB. You literally came out of nowhere and were like, oh, I can download it for you. See, this is what I'm talking about letting guys help you with things. This is why I don't do it, because they expect things in return. And when you don't give it to them, you're a bitch. Think about that. Also, another very small example, when I started engineering physics in my second year, there was a whole new people in my classes. So there's this one guy, I've never spoken to this guy. At the time, I had literally never spoken to him at all. I barely even knew who he was. It was like the first week of classes, so I really didn't get to meet everyone at that time. The word on the street was this guy, who I didn't know, hated me for some reason. I was like, okay, that's weird. So my friend was telling me, oh yeah, he said he doesn't like you because, quote, you are vapid and annoying. A guy who has never spoken to me in my life says I'm vapid and annoying. I am a lot of things, okay? But I am not vapid. Funny of you to assume that I'm vapid for literally no reason after having 0 conversations with me and probably seeing me in your classes maximum 5 times because it was the first week of school. So I want to end this whole talk with a story from my friend. Okay, let's call her Very, okay? Very goes to school. Okay, I'll just say her program. She's in computer engineering, okay? So she has this class and the prof is super duper sexist according to her. He doesn't make eye contact with her at all, or any girl that he ever speaks to. When he teaches the class, he just teaches the class to like 4 nerds that sit up front. And one of the guys, I'm gonna call him Blake. Blake sits at the front all the time. Blake's his favorite student in the whole wide world, and every time he's talking and teaching and presenting, he's only speaking to Blake. And then once he said the exact words, Blake, what do you think of this? See, asking Blake for his opinion is like going to the chef and asking him for what's the best thing on the menu. You know you're gonna get something good. This guy condescending to girls, he doesn't really care, doesn't really listen to them, only teaches for the few guys who sit in the front. So she goes, she starts to rally the other girls, and she's like, have you guys noticed that like this prof is kind of sexist? All the other girls are like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's pretty sexist, but like, honestly, like, it's fine, like, I don't really want to get into it, so like, I feel like we shouldn't really do anything about it. No, we have to speak to the chair, we have to talk to someone. Like, I don't know, I just like don't want my like what if they start thinking that like I'm just complaining, and like, I don't know, I just don't want the prof to be mad at me, and like, I don't want the faculty to think I'm just like complaining. None of these girls that she was trying to rally up who agreed that he was sexist, so they would just rather stay out of it and just whatever, just accept it, it's the way that it is. Yeah, that's just how it is. My friend, Very, she decides to go talk to the chair of computer engineering. She goes to the chair and then she tells him, hey, I've been having concerns with a certain prof. And the chair is like, okay, yeah, of course. What prof is it? And she tells him, oh, Dr. Nick something. I just made that up. And the chair of computer engineering is like, what? Dr. Nick? But we're friends. You would never do something like, I would expect this from someone else in the faculty, but not Dr. Nick. Dr. Nick is a good friend of mine. I'm sorry, sir. What the hell does this have to do with anything? I don't care if he's friends with you. You're a guy. How would you know how he acts towards women? How would you know how he acts inside his classes? You're not a student. Just because someone's your friend doesn't mean that they're not sexist. A lot of people don't even know that they have sexist tendencies. A lot of this stuff is subconscious and they don't really see how it affects anyone. A lot of these guys in engineering have views where they're like, sexism does not exist in first world countries these days. There's no sexism in America. There's no sexism in Canada. Sexism is in other countries where women can't drive. There's actual laws oppressing women. And here, you guys have it easy. There's no, stop whining. There's no sexism. That's actually what all the guys, most guys in engineering think. And I've spoken to many guys in engineering about sexism, and a lot of them don't think it's real. That's the kind of crowd that I'm working with here, okay? So yeah, I think that concludes this video. Thank you for listening to my stories. I honestly have so many more stories about engineering. If you are a girl thinking about going into engineering, if you are a girl currently in engineering, let me know if you want to hear more outrageous, outlandish stories. I have a really good one about a certain Nobel Prize laureate. Even if you want to see other videos, not about specifically being a girl in engineering, but just about engineering, I'll make those. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry if you're going through it right now. I feel you. I feel your pain. All my friends who are also girls in engineering, we feel your pain. We love you. You are strong. You are smart. Don't let any nerd tell you, okay? You're too cute for them.